Farming is 24 hours on a farm, trying to, show people how the stuff that comes from a farm gets to a plate and what life is like. And Tom is going to be living it, aren't you, for the next 24 hours? Good morning.
Morning, all right?
Yeah, gorgeous, good, thank you. Beautiful, isn't it? Yeah, I know. So if you basically forget the forecast for later and just live in the moment, it's all okay.
Yeah. Now, I'm not sure quite what's happening outside my door, but I'm parked outside of the farm at the moment, and listen, there is a very noisy cow.
Oh, okay, let's have a listen.
I'm going to open my door. It'll probably fall silent now,
of course it
just
will.
to spite me, because animals do that. Animals know. I know people say animals aren't that intelligent. They know how to humiliate me.
People don't say that. Animals are intelligent, Tom. They're more intelligent than us.
When you talked to me off air, you said, you packed your little bag. You felt like a kid going on PGL.
So Tom's going for a sleepover. You got your little overnight bag. Got some clean pants.
Text me if you get a bit frightened.
Got your deodorant.
Oh, shut up, Annabelle.
You got it all, haven't you? So you're heading to Yelvertoft, aren't you? That's going to be good.
Yeah, and it's going to be good. I mean, first of all, props to farmers Andrew and Millie Fyfe for being happy to let me stay in their house overnight. A colleague said to me, because obviously I've got a young daughter, they said, oh, it means you'll get a proper night's sleep, doesn't it? I was like, well, Andrew and Millie don't have one young daughter. They've got two young sons.
Right.
So I'll probably get less sleep than I do at home. Yeah. But it's going to be a great day, and I'm really looking forward to, trying to understand a bit more what's involved in farming, because we talk about it a lot, but I don't really know what the job involves. And okay, it's only going to be 24 hours, but it is a snapshot, and more of a snapshot than I would otherwise get. And that's the whole point of 24 hours in farming, is to try and give you a slightly better idea of what a day in the life of a farmer is really like.
I wonder if they're watching the Jeremy Clarkson on the Farm programme, because I haven't seen it yet, but loads of people have been talking about it because it's quite popular, isn't it? But I wonder what that is like to watch if you're in farming already.
Is that a bit too much like a busman's holiday?
There's
a bit too much like a busman's holiday.
Well, probably. So by this time tomorrow, you'll be able to tell me what kind of cow that is, won't you?
It's got 4 legs and it moves.
Good.
I know what they have. They have a suckler herd. So it's not a dairy cow. I know that much. And I also found out what suckler herd means, and I never knew before.
Tell me.
It's when you breed the cows as opposed to just buying them as calves and fattening them up. So if you breed them and you have them from when they're born until when they're, sent on their way, that's a suckler herd.
Oh, okay. Right. Okay, so they don't go to market and get them. They breed them themselves.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, there we go. We're learning, aren't we? Very good.
Aren't we?
Aren't we? Can I get your suggestions then, please, on the topical songs? So we are doing France, because it's all over the papers this morning. So we've got some good ones, actually. So Bev suggests Franz Ferdinand with Eleanor Put le Butin. We've got Duffy and Merci. We've got Tina Turner and Simply the Brest. We've got Pink Floyd and Another Brick in De Gaulle. Thought that was quite good. Well done, Mark.
That's good.
Well done, Mark. U2 and One Louvre. What would you like to offer us?
Your French accent is becoming like a pantomime French accent, can I just say. Right, Phil Collins. I've just gone for food and drink. Phil Collins, you're no saucisson of mine.
Okay, yeah. It's all right, yeah.
That was rubbish, isn't it? That's okay.
Not great.
Oasis, what you say when you're in a restaurant, Annabelle, brie here now.
Right.
And Queen, and We Are the Champignons.
Oh, that is good. That is good. Also, you've got We, haven't you? As well in there. So, yeah, I like it. Well done. Very good. Specky Techie's gone with anything by Britney Spears. Very good. We're liking these. Right, Tom, enjoy this morning then. So you're going to do, well, any number of jobs, aren't you, down on the farm? We'll find out a little later exactly which.
Yeah, you and me both.
Right.
I put it this way, I doubt they're going to leave me in charge of the combine harvester. You know what I'm saying? I think it's going to be more entry level.
No, okay, fine. Well, what you have to do as a farmer at some point today, I don't know how it works with tractor license. Can you drive a tractor if you've got a driving license, standard one? Maybe not. But I presume any farmer's rite of passage is to, well, you're in Yelvertoft, aren't you? Head down the A428, go really slowly and see just how many people you can get queuing behind you and don't pull in.
Can I ask you a question, Annabelle?
Go on.
Legality or otherwise, if you owned a tractor, would you trust me with it?
No, that's very true. It's a good point, well made. Right, that should be fun this morning. 24 hours on a farm for Tom.
Not insurmountable issue of, am I trusted with a tractor? Which,
Yeah,
if I'm honest,
true.
is probably a bigger issue than the actual legality of the thing. Re the bag of pants at the back door. I looked in there, and I assumed they were yours, so I left them on the bonnet of your car. I hope that's okay.
Thanks very much, yes. You've done what all of us have done. Look in, think, oh, gosh, I don't want to touch those, and leave them.
Well, also, the other thing that struck me as odd is, I don't know if you saw this, but there is a West Northamptonshire Council lanyard in there.
You looked closer than me.
Well, has the leader of West Northamptonshire Council been sleeping by our bins or something? What's going on?
Oh, gosh, I don't know.
Ask Laura Coffey, our politics reporter. I think give her the bag. Investigate that, Laura.
Investigative journalism at its best. Why has
Exactly.
BBC Radio Northampton got a bag of pants on its back door? Right, you a little earlier on were by a noisy cow. You are going to be doing all sorts this morning, aren't you?
Yeah, the cow's settled down now. Welcome to Orchard Farm in Yelvertoft. I'll tell you more about it a little later. I am here because the magazine for farmers, essentially, Farmer's Guardian, runs a thing every year called 24 Hours in Farming. And the idea is they want farms all across the UK to get on social media and promote the work that they do and give people a sense of a day in the life of their farm. And so we thought, well, rather than just coming to a farm and talking about it, why don't I do it and then report back on what I find out and what I learn? So I'm here this morning to tee the whole thing up with Millie and Andrew Fyfe, who run this place. And then tomorrow morning, I'll be back with you to talk about what I've learned.
Having spent the night there. Fabulous.
Yeah.
Okay, lovely. And I know you're going to pop up through the day, aren't you, on BBC Radio Northampton to tell people what it's like. So we're looking forward to it. Tom, lovely. Enjoy. We shall speak to you a little later.
Farm, E-I-E-I-O. And on that farm he had some
Sorry.
E-I-E-I-O.
We had to do this.
With a
Tom this morning is starting off his 24 hours on a farm. And this, I would imagine, you'll be singing all day, won't you, Tom?
I think if I look up the word cliche in a dictionary, it's going to play this moment of radio at me, Annabelle. Was this the best you could do?
No, actually, a bit later, I've got a brand new combine harvester.
Oh, for goodness sake. I was actually thinking, well, at least it's not the Wurzels. But here we are. Thank you. God, how am I meant to follow that? You are. Standards are slipping, aren't they, since the start of the pandemic?
It's what people
March
expect.
2020, Annabelle
Jeez.
wouldn't have done this.
Would you
Right,
not?
listen. So where am I? I am at Orchard Farm in Yelvertoft, Annabelle. And why am I here? Well, because of something called 24 Hours in Farming. This is run by the magazine Farmer's Guardian. And what they want is for farmers all over the UK to talk publicly and openly today about the work they do and try to show people a day in the life of their farm. And it runs from 5 o'clock this morning until 5 o'clock tomorrow morning. And so I thought, rather than just talking about it, why don't I do it? And so I picked up the phone and I rang a couple of farms and I spoke to Millie and Andrew, who run Orchard Farm, and said, look, how would you feel about me spending the night in your house?
And they said yes.
I know they did. Well, it's a bit of persuasion, I think. And so I'm here. I'm going to be here this morning speaking to both of them, and then I'll be here tomorrow morning as well. I've got my overnight bag, Annabelle. I've got my change of clothes. I've got my phone in case I get worried and I need to ring my mum in the night. You know, if I wake up and I'm a bit confused.
Good.
Yeah, don't worry. I'm ready. And the point is, whatever needs doing on the farm today, I'm going to try and help with. I probably won't be trusted to do combining, but I might be trusted to help to ferry silage around or something, because that's another of the jobs that needs to be done today. But whatever needs doing on the farm today, that's what I'll be doing. And I'll be trying to bring you a sense of that through this morning, through Bernie and through Tim and through Reg this evening as well. And the aim, I guess, is to try and give you a bit of a sense of what farming is like day to day, because we all talk about it and its importance, but we don't often kind of think about what that actually means on a day-to-day basis. So that's the idea.
Well, I'm looking forward to it. It'll be great. So you don't really know the kind of jobs that you're going to be doing, do you?
Well, I mean, obviously, a lot of it is weather dependent. So harvest has been a bit hit and miss because, you know, we had that really hot week a couple of weeks ago. But since then, it's been a bit rainy and a bit dry. And I was talking to Andrew when I got here, and he said, well, you wouldn't be able to go out and combine now because things are too damp. But if the weather stays like it is right now until lunchtime, then come midday, you might be able to combine. But equally, if you look at the weather and you think there's rain half an hour away, you might not get much done. So you just have to wait and see, really. A quick couple of things about Orchard Farm, just to give you a bit of a sense. Tucked away on the north side of Yelvertoft, up in the northwest of the county, 500 acres, a mix of arable and livestock. So they've got a suckler herd, about 100 head of cattle. They've got breeding ewes, they've got hens, a few pigs for personal consumption. And then on the arable side, there's wheat and barley, which is grown mainly to feed the cattle. But they also sell some, and it goes to things like the brewing industry and the baking industry. They grow grass, that's for hay and silage. And Andrew Fyfe is the third generation of his family to farm here. His dad and his uncle are still about, and his granddad was the one who started it here at Orchard Farm, moved down from Aberdeenshire many years ago. So we can talk about all of that as well.
So a couple of things just
yes.
to pick up on that you've just said there.
Yes.
So pigs for personal consumption and
Yes.
beer and baking. So it's not going to be all bad, is it?
Well, no, but I mean, they don't do the beer and the baking.
No, yeah. You're still hoping
You
for a
know.
nice cake, aren't you?
You are... What's going on with you today? I'm not just thinking with my stomach.
No.
I mean, you know, a nice farm-cooked meal would be quite nice.
You know that's going to happen later, don't you?
I really hope so. I'm getting a bit bored of brown rice at home. So,
Are you?
know.
So have you been shown to? Have you been inside yet? Do you know where you're sleeping tonight? Are you in the barn?
Yeah, in the coal scuttle.
Depending on how you do.
Well, yeah, I think I could be upgraded or downgraded according to the quality of my labours.
Yes.
I don't know yet. I've been told I have a bet, so that's
Good.
nice. And yeah, I did think, shall I bring a bottle of wine to say thanks very much for having me? And I thought, well, yeah, that'll be quite nice. And then I thought, well, it's quite a lot that they're doing. Should I bring 2 bottles? And then I thought, well, that might just give the sense that I think we should all get plastered. And I'm not sure that's the vibe that I want to go for on a Thursday.
It definitely would give that. And I got a 6-pack of beer as well. There you go.
Guys, chug, 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 chug.
So what did you go with? You just went with one?
Just with one.
Okay. Well, what you could have done is you could have taken 2, given them one this evening, and then when you leave tomorrow, give the other one.
I didn't think of that. Why didn't you tell me that yesterday?
Yeah, sorry. That's what would have been.
Instead, otherwise, I mean, we might have just all got absolutely steaming. And then,
And then tomorrow morning, 6:40. Tom, where's Tom?
yeah, Tom's curled around the toilet.
He's asleep under a cow in the barn in the far field. Wonderful.
Oh,
right, well,
this is the
should be
kind
fun
of
then this
maturity
morning.
I think they're looking for from
Yes.
24 hours in farming.
Exactly.
Can I just say?
Can I just quickly ask about your outfit? You know how I like to obsess over these things. Have you gone for Farmer Tom?
Yeah. Well, yeah, so I've got, I'm wearing an old pair of walking boots, which I've realised have got a couple of holes in them. Well, some quite large holes in them. The
Not going
sole's
to be
coming
great
away.
for later.
No, but I've got my wellies as well.
Oh, good.
So don't worry. My feet will be okay. I'm appropriately attired.
Good. Okay, lovely. Right. Well, enjoy that. We shall meet the farmers a little later. And if you would like to, by the way, suggest jobs that you would like to hear Tom do over the next 24 hours down on the farm, then by all means you can do that. That would be great. 81333 north at the front of your message. We shall see how he gets on. And as Tom says, he's going to kind of pop up through the day here on BBC Radio Northampton, so you can follow his progress with his 24 hours down on the farm. In talking about staycations and, well, appreciating what's on our doorstep, there's this new campaign and, well, it's called Go Northamptonshire, the idea being farm now, and Tom's told me I'm not allowed to play this, but when have I ever listened to Tom? So this morning, early doors, he's packed his bag, he's spending 24 hours on the farm. Yelvertoft is the farm in question, and, well, it is the Fyfe family that you are with, and you are yet to find out whether you'll be on a combine harvester, aren't you, Tom?
I am yet to find out. Good news for me, bad news for you, Annabelle, is that Andrew was listening earlier on. He told me with a kind of knowing glint in his eye. I think you may have already rubbed him up the wrong way. In fact, I'll describe where I am in just a moment, Annabelle. But Andrew, you won't have heard this because you've just walked up and you haven't got headphones on. Annabelle just did the very original thing of playing the Wurzels. I've got a brand new combine harvester, and I did just want to. Never mind the poor judgment that leads to the decision to play that song. I did want to just raise the very first lyric that she played and just get your thoughts on the accuracy of this, because in it he says, "I've got a brand new combine harvester, I'll give you the key." And I want to know whether any sensible farmer has ever done that.
Given you the key?
Given anyone else the key to a brand new combine harvester, I would jealously guard the key to my brand new combine.
It's a valuable bit of kit anyway, definitely.
Yeah, how much is a new combine harvester?
Oh, can be up to $500,000.
Good. Okay, so Annabelle, how are you feeling about that?
Yeah, well.
You absolute joker. Right, listen, welcome to Orchard Farm in Yelvertoft on a gorgeous sunny morning. A large barn with the kind of the doors slung wide open is bathed in sunlight. Machinery inside of there, then some very large bales stacked 3 or 4 on top of one another under another barn. Cows have been merrily eating their breakfast, and one kind of golden coloured one is looking me square in the eye as we speak. And why are we here? Well, because of Farmer's Guardian and a thing that they do called 24 Hours in Farming. The idea being that you get a sense, or the wider public does, of a day in the life of a farm and of a farmer, and of what they do on August the 5th. It started at 5 o'clock this morning, runs till 5 o'clock tomorrow morning, and the Fyfes have let me invade for the day. It's good to see you, Andrew. Thanks for letting me come over.
Yeah, thanks for coming.
Thank you. First of all, when I rang your wife Millie and said, how would you feel about me spending the night? How were you about that idea when she raised it?
Oh, it was all right. We occasionally have people stay, so it's not too bad.
I am house trained.
Well done.
So thanks. So we'll be okay. I'm sure there is no typical day for you, but at this sort of time of year, you've got 500 acres, a mixture of livestock and arable. What kinds of things are you doing? I guess depending on the weather.
Yeah, well, yeah, it's very, very weather dependent. Normally this time of year we'd like to be harvesting, and we were harvesting yesterday. We've got stock to check first and feed them first, and then when the dew lifts, hopefully we can go. But they're forecasting rain for later, so we'll find out. But
and you were saying off air, so you'd be looking at sort of lunchtime today for the sun to do its thing, get the dew off, and then you'd be ready to go. But do you have to look at the forecast? I guess if rain's forecast for 2 or 3 o'clock, do you think, well, it's not worth bothering?
Oh no, well we'd still do what we could, and then the straw is important to us as well, so we've got to try and bale that as well at the same time, or stop a bit earlier and go and bale the bits that have been rolled down so they don't get wet. That's the straw is important for us for the animals in the winter, you see. So.
Yeah. How long have you been here, and how long has your family been here?
Me personally, I've been working here probably 10 years, maybe 12 years. My family have been here since the late 60s. They moved down to near Banbury in the late 50s from Aberdeenshire first, and then moved here 10 years later. So.
And what prompted the move, particularly the move down from Scotland?
I think better weather, better ground, better soil. Because the place they came from up there was got stones the size of your house that you can't do much with and that sort of thing. So mainly the ground and the weather, really.
Because I mean, it's funny. We're talking about we do a book club on the programme, and we've been doing it since last March. We've been talking about it today because we're picking next month's book. And one of the books we did last year, and I wasn't anticipating liking it half as much as I would do, was James Herriot's Diary of a Yorkshire Vet.
Oh, right, yeah.
And I mean, okay, it's a different era, but the toughness and the harshness of life if you're high up on the Dales, and I guess a similar story if you're up in Aberdeenshire. I mean, you've got to be made of some seriously stern stuff.
Oh yeah. Massive respect for people back then, and living and working literally in the middle of nowhere back then. It's a bit different now, perhaps with modern transport and that, but and mobile phone technology. But back then, it's you were on your own.
Yeah, you really were. Now, you talked a bit about combining and baling and things like that. What kinds of tasks do you think I, as a total novice, can be trusted with?
Well,
I wish I could have shown you the look on Andrew's face just then.
So we've got some. We can bed down some cattle with some straw and rolling bales of straw out, that type of thing.
Yeah.
We can grease some machinery before we use it.
Yeah.
So yeah, we can do that for a start, and then see how we get on.
Fantastic. Right, well, I might start getting ready to do some of that then, Annabelle. And I will just say, I'll be with Bernie later on, and then with Tim on Drive, and with Reg this evening as well, to let you know how I'm getting on. Do you think you might pop in?
I might pop in, yeah. You're not far from where I will be heading back to a little later, so yeah, I'll pop in. Make me a nice cake. I'll come and see the cows. It'll be lovely.
What have you had this morning, Annabelle Amos? Blimey.
Back with you later. I'm not going to play Old MacDonald. I'm far too mature for that. I'm just going to head back to the farm and speak to Tom, who is in Yelvertoft.
Sudden burst of maturity have you had,
Old
Annabelle?
MacDonald.
You're such a child. You're such a child. I'm trying to do a serious job here this morning.
Sorry.
I'm trying to help paint a picture of an industry that people know precious little about, improve awareness of food provenance, highlight important issues like mental health for people in rural areas, and all you're doing is playing old blooming MacDonald, aren't you?
Right, that's it done. I won't do it anymore.
I don't believe you. But anyway, welcome back to Orchard Farm in Yelvertoft, Annabelle. Why am I here? Well, because of Farm 24, 24 Hours in Farming, to give it its full name. An effort by the magazine Farmer's Guardian to try to improve awareness of the industry, and so that people can be aware of where food comes from and be aware of the challenges and the stewardship and the responsibilities that come with looking after our landscape. Orchard Farm in Yelvertoft then is 500 acres, a mixture of arable and livestock. Arable sounds a bit like Annabelle, doesn't it? Arable and livestock. So they grow wheat and barley, predominantly to feed cattle, but also to sell into the baking industry and the brewing industry as well. And so I wanted to come and spend a full day here, which means also staying the night, which meant getting the permission of wife of Andrew Fyfe, who we met earlier, and that's Millie Fyfe. Hello.
Hello.
So I rang you and said, I've got an idea, and told you the idea, and you didn't sound unenthusiastic, is probably how I'd describe it.
Well, I'm quite open, Tom. I like to be able to share what we do here on the farm. You know from social media that I like to post pictures about what we do. And I also have my own food blog where I take pictures and try and communicate the food to farm message. So, you know, having the opportunity to host you is a prime opportunity to obviously show you a day in our life of what we do, not only on the farm, but everything surrounding the farm as well. So obviously we've got 2 young children, and I run my own business as well as a PR and marketing business. So it's very busy here, and every day is very busy. So.
Because there is that kind of stereotype of the farmer's wife, and so you are kind of all of those things, but also all of the things that modern working mums have to be as well.
Yeah, Yeah, that's it. Yeah, it's go from wake up to when we go to sleep. There's so much to do, and obviously supporting Andrew on the farm, with making sure that the farm's running in order, accepting deliveries, and just being there as that port of call, as well as obviously putting meals on the table. But obviously we've got a 2-year-old and a 3-year-old, and I'm earning my own living from running my own business, and I've got 7 clients who are all food and farming businesses as well. So and they're all local, regional and national, so it's looking after them as well as juggling everything else. So and what's great is that no 2 days are ever the same. It's really diverse.
So a day in the life then, a snapshot is the point to 24 hours in farming.
Yes.
What will the snapshot that you give me today include?
Well, it depends on the weather.
Excellent. And how charitable you're feeling.
Well, that's it. I mean, that's the biggest factor affecting farming day to day is, depending on what the weather's doing, will depend on what we're able to show you. I mean, at the moment, it's harvest time, so we've been combining our barley, so we'd like to be able to show you that, but we know that there are some rain showers forecasted, and if it rains, then obviously that just everything stops, because we can't combine in the rain. But obviously we've got livestock here as well, so there'll be general husbandry, feeding, putting their bedding in, just doing general checks. We've got sheep as well, so obviously driving around making sure that they're okay. This time of year especially, sheep can get a bit cast, so they'll be led on their backs. We have to tip them up if they get stuck and things like that, and just generally making sure that everything is where it's meant to be, and so that it doesn't escape into other fields or disappears.
Have you watched that Jeremy Clarkson thing about his farm?
Yeah, it's very good.
Okay, because Annabelle asked about this, and I thought, is that a bit too much of a busman's holiday for you? But because he can come across as being a bit of a berg, but my understanding from it is that he has actually become more appreciative of the work that goes into doing it properly.
Yeah, absolutely. He's sort of really hammered home some fantastic points. I mean, he does sort of mess about a bit, and it's all sort of done for camera a lot of the time, but actually some of the take-home points are the realities of farming, and that he's immersed himself and experienced himself. So I think I know the farming community especially are actually really pleased with how it's come across, because again it's shone a light on our industry to a wide audience, so that obviously when it comes to producing food, that journey of how it gets to everyone's plate and all the different things are perhaps not appreciated. So,
but when he's made a living from doing various kind of uncharitable things to caravans, was there some trepidation about what it might be like?
Yeah, it's sort of like, oh no, it's someone else sort of taking the mickey out of our industry, or just a bit of a jovial kind of approach. But actually I think now, especially that they've commissioned a second series as well, I think when it's done in such a way, and also because they've got their farm shop, I know that actually now it's become quite a visitor's attraction, that actually lots of people are getting to have their flavour or experience of life on the farm.
Yeah, which is great. And I suppose if it gives people a way in, and they then learn more about it and what the industry is like in a wider sense, that can only be a good thing.
Definitely. And I think like the Farmer's Guardian 24 Hours in Farming and their other campaign, Farming Can, it is just taking a snapshot into all the different things that we do on the farm, from raising the animals, processing the food, and obviously from my perspective with the food blog and the podcast that I create is sort of looking at producing tasty meals that the whole family can enjoy using local ingredients on the farm and from local producers.
Yeah, food miles and provenance are becoming more and more of a thing, aren't they?
Exactly, and you're going to be, later on, I'm going to be cooking you a roast pork dinner using... That's one of the highlights, I hope it is. We had some pigs back from the butchers last week, so I'm going to cook you a joint of our Gloucester Old Spot pork, and then we're going to go into the garden and we're going to dig up some vegetables. So we've got some potatoes, some beans, some kale. Yeah, we'll so incredibly low food miles, and so I think by tonight we'll probably be in a food coma.
Annabelle, these are looking up, aren't they?
Yeah, aren't they just? You've been pooed on by a
Millie.
cow in the past, and suddenly that is put behind
Yes,
you,
I
isn't
have.
it?
I've come full circle. Right, we'll have a chat with Millie and Andrew at 10 to 9 about, I guess, the kind of the serious side of what they want to dispel, what myths they want to bust about their industry. We'll do that before 9 o'clock, and then I will look forward to dinner later.
Wow, just lovely. Right, thank you, Tom. We've also got farming covered for the next 24 hours, actually, because Tom is
Maybe on the radio too.
He's going to be on the radio, look.
No.
Tom is spending
Yes.
24 hours on a farm. But he's not
Yes.
just on a farm, he's in a farmhouse. You are spending the night there. You've got your bag packed and everything, haven't you? You've already been
Yeah.
talked through your fabulous
Yeah.
meal tonight, which is all made on the farm. So you've got Gloucester Old Spot pig on the menu, haven't you, with veg from the garden. I mean, no wonder you said, can I come and stay at yours for the night? Suddenly it's looking
Can I just say
good.
the menu followed after the arrangement was made,
Of course it
just
did.
in case people are getting a misconception, Annabelle. But welcome back to Orchard Farm in Yelvertoft and to the farmhouse kitchen. We've moved inside. Millie and Andrew have been having their breakfast. Their boys have been having theirs. And well, Millie was reflecting earlier on the fact that, as well as the kind of the traditional farmer's wife role, she has a busy family and busy work. And Millie and Andrew, you are potty training at the moment.
Well, not us ourselves, thankfully.
No, not you're fine. You're adults. Everything's okay.
Yes.
Your boys.
Yeah, our boys are 2 and 3. So we decided to do them at the same time over the summer holidays. And I think we just about nailed it now.
How's it going?
We're getting there, yeah. We've been probably 10 days at it, and we're just about cracked it.
Yeah. Yeah, they're in actual big boy pants and shorts now.
Amazing.
So, yeah. So
I'm trying to think back when we potty trained my daughter. I'd say that we had probably 3 or 4 accidents, but we didn't have any accidents. For you?
yeah, we've had a few. Probably not things we want to talk about at breakfast time. Put it that way.
I beg to differ. It's all nothing's off limits. What do you two? The whole point to me being here is 24 hours in farming, challenging conceptions, giving people an idea of the day in the life of a farm. And this is happening across the UK, farmers being urged to put stuff online. So if you go on Twitter or Facebook and search for #farm24, you can see lots and lots of examples. But what are the misunderstandings or the misconceptions, Andrew, that you think people have about modern farming?
Most people think that agriculture or farming is still quite a quaint industry, and I mean we're using like GPS guided track or self-driving tractors and that type of thing on a more or less a daily basis. So
Yeah.
I mean that's probably, you know, technology is very advanced on farms these days.
And I guess as science allows you a better understanding of like optimum times to do things, that also brings with it, you're almost like a data scientist at times as well. I've spent time on dairy farms, and farmers have shown me the apps they use to monitor the health of their cattle, and it's like, it just seems like it's all spreadsheets and graphs.
Well, it can be, yeah, at times, yeah. I mean, the data's only as good as how you interpret it. But yeah, you can get a lot of data from cow movements, how healthy they are, and
Yeah.
what they're doing, and how that reflects in growth rates and all this sort of thing. So yeah, it's.
And is there also a sense that because farms are relatively isolated, you know, you can't really have that kind of day-to-day exchange with people that other businesses would have?
Oh yeah, no, definitely. I mean, a lot of, we're on our own, you know, 90% of the time. It's nobody meets around a water cooler for a chat, do they? So.
No. And is that hard in terms of your own well-being? The fact that you might go hours on end without talking to another human being?
It can be, yeah, but I mean, I guess that depends on the person. Farming, when you get into it, most people would know what it's going to be like before they.
Yeah.
So I mean, and you've got a mobile phone with you, so you can just, you know.
You can have contact.
Yeah.
But still,
yeah.
I suppose, as the industry has become more mechanised, it's fewer pairs of hands to do a job, isn't it? Where previously there had been 3 or 4 of you doing something, now there's you and a big clever machine that does the rest of it.
For sure, yeah, basically that is it. Yeah. I mean, on this farm, there've been, when my grandparents came here, there was my grandparents and 3 uncles that worked here, and I mean now it's just like me and me and my dad part time, like, so it's you know, it's vast difference in labour.
It's a different kind of thing. And of course, while you're outside all day, quite often Millie's inside with two very sprightly and active boys.
Yeah, one of which I'm just holding at the moment. He wanted to come and can you say hello? Hi.
Hello.
Good boy.
Well, 10 out of 10 on the potty use, by the way. That was very good.
Yeah, absolutely, definitely. No, it's pretty full on, isn't it? Yeah, I mean, obviously, as I said before, looking after two young children, two young boys on a farm. Everyone says to me, "Oh, it must be wonderful growing up on a farm." I'm like, it is, but it's also the worry as well. You know, there's so many dangers, and you know they do have a wonderful life, but you know I have to be constantly on my guard all the time. Where are they? What are they doing?
Because you can't just open the door and let them run free all day.
No, absolutely no. There's machinery operated. There's animals in the yard. There's water troughs. There's chemicals. There's everything.
Yeah.
So from that perspective.
I suppose they are being raised with an awareness of risk, though, and so much of parenting for a lot of people now is about taking away all risk. And if you take away all of it, how do children learn to make those judgments for themselves? It's a balance.
Yeah, oh yeah, absolutely. But I mean, you know, it was only Farm Safety Week a few weeks ago, and actually, you know, highlighting the risks and dangers when working on a farm. I mean, you know, we all get quite complacent, and you know, have rose-tinted glasses in terms of what our perceptions are on farm. But actually, you know, protecting our children, but also, you know, immersing them in it so that they do understand the risks and dangers as well in a safer way.
Yeah.
And I mean, they're tractor mad. They absolutely love tractors, animals, and it's wonderful. And you know, hopefully one day they might think about, you know, going into farming. But it's up to them at the end of the day. We're not going to pressurise them into it. But it is a wonderful life. But it's not a 9 till 5, and it's something that.
It's a lifestyle choice,
it is, and it's not something that we can shut that door. And so for me, sometimes I know Andrew copes a lot better than I do, but you know, my stress levels in terms of managing things, you know, when the going's good, the going's great, and I can spin the plates and it's fine. But I've been struggling with my health over the last couple of years following having the children, and not only from my own mental health, but also my physical health as well.
It's not always the easiest, is it?
No, it's not.
Listen, we're short on time for this bit, and we can talk about this stuff. We'll talk more at greater length tomorrow morning about it. But we're going to be on throughout the day. Annabelle, I'll be with Bernie and Tim, and with Reg later on from Orchard Farm in Yelvertoft.
Fabulous. Thank you very much, Tom, and to Andrew and Millie.